The basement had always given Daniel an uneasy feeling. The air was thick with the scent of damp concrete and something older, something forgotten. He'd lived in the house for 6 months, but the farthest corner, hidden behind stacks of boxes, had remained untouched. Until tonight. A loose floorboard snagged his shoe as he moved a crate. Beneath it, a rusted iron ring jutted from the ground. Curiosity overpowered dread. With a grunt, he pulled. The floor gave way with a groan, revealing a narrow staircase descending into blackness. The hidden room was small, its walls lined with crumbling brick. A single wooden chair sat in the center, facing a dust-covered desk. On it lay a leather-bound journal, its pages yellowed with age. The moment Daniel touched it, the temperature dropped. The first entry was dated 1972. Asterisk, the voices told me to dig. They promised power. I built this room for them. Asterisk. Flipping further, the entries grew darker. Sketches of strange symbols covered the margins. Descriptions of rituals, animal bones, whispered chants, something about feeding the shadows. The handwriting became frantic, desperate. Asterisk, they're louder now. They want more. Asterisk. Asterisk, I can't sleep. They stand in the corners when I close my eyes. Asterisk. Then, the final page. Asterisk, if you're reading this, you've already awakened them. They'll pretend to be the house at first, creaks, cold spots. Don't listen. Don't, asterisk. The sentence ended mid-word, the page torn as if ripped away in panic. Daniel laughed nervously. Some old nutjob's ramblings, he muttered. Then the light bulb flickered. That night, the whispers began. At first, they blended with the wind, hisses just below hearing. But by 3 a.m., they were unmistakable, guttural syllables echoing up through the vents, something scratched lazily at the inside of the walls. Daniel sat frozen in bed. The diary lay on his nightstand. As his terrified gaze fell upon it, the cover slowly creaked open, as if an invisible hand had turned the page. To be continued, asterisk, like and subscribe for part 2. Asterisk. The basement renovation began with simple intentions, just some extra storage space. But when Jake's hammer struck the western wall, the hollow echo stopped him cold. Plaster crumbled away to reveal weathered wallpaper beneath, and the outline of a door no blueprint had ever shown. A single push sent the hidden entrance swinging inward with a groan of long-rusted hinges. The smell hit first, stale air laced with the sweet-rot scent of decaying wood and something organic. Jake's flashlight beam cut through the darkness, illuminating a nightmare preserved in time. A child's bedroom. Faded dinosaur wallpaper peeled at the seams. A toy firetruck lay overturned near a small bed with sheets still rumpled, as if someone had just climbed out. Dust-covered action figures stood frozen in play on a shelf. Most unsettling of all, a tiny pair of pajamas draped over a chair, still holding the shape of the child who once wore them. Jake's phone camera captured it all in shaky footage as he muttered, asterisk, what the hell? Asterisk, his light caught something glinting beneath the bed. A rusted lunchbox, its contents spilling out, a moldy sandwich, a juice box swollen with age, and a newspaper clipping from 1987. Local boy, 7, vanishes from home, police baffled. The article named his own address. That night, Jake lay awake staring at the ceiling. The house creaked as old houses do, until the creaks became footsteps. Light, quick. Child-sized, then the laughter started, a high, gleeful giggle rising from the basement vents. At 3:17 a.m., his security app alerted him to motion in the basement. The live feed showed nothing at first, then the bed in the hidden room indented, as if someone had just sat down. The toys on the shelf began to tremble. When Jake descended the stairs at dawn, heart pounding, he found the fire truck had moved. It now sat perfectly centered on the floor, its plastic wheels still spinning slowly. From the shadows where the flashlight couldn't reach, something whispered. Wanna play? TOB continued, smash that like button if you dare us to investigate further. The movers had warned Sarah about the antique mirror. Creepy old thing came with the house, they'd said, leaving it wrapped in quilts in the basement storage room. But when Sarah pulled away the fabric on that rainy afternoon, she uncovered more than just glass and tarnished silver. Ancient symbols carved into the frame pulsed faintly under her flashlight. The mirror's surface was impossibly pristine, reflecting her startled face with crystal clarity. Then she noticed it, a dark smudge just behind her right shoulder. She spun around. Nothing there. When she looked back, the smudge had taken shape. A gaunt figure now stood reflected behind her, its hollow eyes tracking her movements with a half-second delay. Sarah's breath hitched as she waved her hand experimentally. The thing mimicked her, but its fingers ended in jagged nails, its smile stretching too wide. That night, Sarah's phone recorded her first experiment. The video showed her standing before the mirror at 2:13 a.m., the room lit only by candlelight. As she reached toward the glass, her reflection's hand kept moving after she stopped. The shadow figure now stood closer, its rotting teeth visible as it mouthed words Sarah couldn't hear. By the third day, the rules changed. Sarah's morning routine became a nightmare. Brushing her teeth, she watched in horror as the reflection continued scrubbing for 10 seconds after she'd stopped. The shadow figure had grown more defined, its emaciated frame pressing against the inside of the glass, leaving greasy smears where its palms touched. Then came the morning. Sarah's reflection blinked first. She froze mid-sip of coffee as her mirror image set down an invisible cup, and kept moving. The shadow figure placed decaying hands on her reflection's shoulders as both turned to stare directly at her. The glass fogged with their breath. That's when the first crack appeared. Sarah was unpacking groceries when she heard the shattering crash from the basement. The mirror lay in pieces, except for one jagged shard still hanging in the frame. As she bent to examine it, the fragment reflected movement behind her. Something stood at the top of the stairs. Its head tilted at the exact angle her reflection used to. TOB continued, subscribe and hit the bell for part 2, security footage reveals what happened next. When the ceiling leak forced Noah to tear down the basement paneling, he expected water damage, not a hidden vault door with no visible lock. The steel groaned open after 3 hard shoves, revealing a chamber that smelled of mothballs and something faintly metallic. His flashlight beam danced across shelves of carefully arranged things. At first glance it appeared to be an eccentric collector's trove. A Victorian doll with yellowed human teeth stitched into its grin. A music box playing a lullaby at quarter speed despite its rusted gears. But it was the large glass jar that made Noah's breath catch, the murky liquid inside swirling lazily, as if something had just disturbed it. "Someone's messed up horror collection," Noah muttered, turning away. Behind him, the music box's tune abruptly switched to a children's choir singing backwards. That night, Noah dreamed of teeth. Hundreds of them clicking together in the darkness, forming words he couldn't quite understand. He woke to find his bedroom door ajar, the hallway beyond pitch black except for two glass eyes reflecting the moonlight. The doll sat propped against his doorframe, its stitched mouth now slightly torn. The next morning, all traces of the hidden room were gone. Noah's camera footage showed the steel door had vanished, leaving only unbroken drywall. But the artifacts had begun appearing throughout his home. The music box tinkled faintly from inside his closed pantry. The jar sat in his shower, its contents now visibly pressing against the glass in rhythmic pulses. Worst of all was the photograph he found taped to his bathroom mirror, a black and white image of a smiling family, their eyes scratched out. Written beneath in what looked like dried blood. Asterisk, "We've been waiting for new friends." Asterisk. As Noah backed away, something wet plopped onto his shoulder from above. The jar's seal had broken, and thick, dark fluid now dripped from his ceiling vent. The liquid moved against gravity, crawling upward along the walls to form words. "Take us home." "To be continued, asterisk, smash that like button if you want the terrifying conclusion. Turn on notifications so you don't miss when the objects move again. Asterisk." Mark knew every inch of his basement. After 12 years of doing laundry down there, he could navigate the space blindfolded. That's why the hair stood up on his neck when his shoulder brushed against unfamiliar wood where bare concrete should have been. The door looked ancient, its oak surface warped with age, iron hinges rusted into bloody orange flakes. Most disturbing was the fresh keyhole gleaming with recent use. Mark's fingers trembled as they traced the frame. Cold air seeped through the cracks, carrying the scent of wet earth and something coppery. The lock gave way with a single turn. His flashlight revealed a tunnel carved from raw earth, descending at a sharp angle into darkness. The beam caught hundreds of footprints in the fine dust, bare human feet of varying sizes, all moving downward. But when Mark crouched to examine them, his blood turned to ice. An equal number of prints faced the opposite direction. Something had come back up. That night, Mark reviewed the basement security footage. The timestamp showed 3:17 a.m. 2 nights prior, the door simply appearing in a time-lapse of shadows. Then movement. The knob turned slowly from the other side before stopping abruptly, as if whatever tried to exit had heard the camera's faint whir. At 4:33 a.m., Mark's motion-activated hallway light captured the first sign. A single muddy footprint on his clean carpet. Then another. And another. Leading from the basement stairs, to just outside his bedroom door. The camera never showed what made them. Now the scratching starts every night at precisely 3:17 a.m., not at the basement door, but inside Mark's closet. Something mimicking the sound of the turning knob. Something learning. To be continued, asterisk, subscribe and hit the bell, security footage reveals what comes through the door next. Asterisk.